I told you, I freaking told you. Don't say I didn't warn you. The holograms are coming. Stay tuned. Well, what is going on, guitar historian community? Thank you for checking in to another edition of GH Reacts. So, some time ago, a few months back, maybe more than a few months, I did a couple of videos on ABBA and their new kind of holographic adventure tour show, whatever you want to call it. And I expressed my concern that this type of technology could be used for purposes that we may not want it to be used for as music fans. So, again, just to summarize, ABBA released a new album in 2020, I believe, 2021 maybe, and they also announced that they had done this kind of motion capture thing for a show that was going to be in London. It was going to be kind of an all-encompassing one-time thing where these holographic versions of the 70s ABBA band would come out and perform their hits and some of the new songs, and it was going to be this big thing. And it was in total... the band had, did the whole thing. They were with it every step of the way. And if it's something that they wanted to do, then so be it and everything. My concern came in how the technology could be misused. And that if enough money were thrown at certain entities, that eventually this technology could be used to bring someone back from the dead. We've already kind of seen this with... Tupac showing up at Coachella one year, obviously many years after his death. There was kind of a not the same thing with an Elvis show, but this show they actually performed along with a shot of Elvis. And even Paul McCartney has done something like this in his most recent shows since the Let It Be movie came out. I think he used the footage of John singing the parts from I've Got a Feeling. And Paul has been playing those over his version, and it's almost as if John is there singing with him. It's a very powerful thing when it's used right. But let's get to the point here. So this broke a few days back. Led Zeppelin hologram show was scrapped after band members couldn't agree, Jimmy Page reveals. So apparently this was going to happen even before the ABBA thing. There was an entity that had approached Jimmy Page about doing that type of show with holographic versions of the 4 Led Zeppelin members, including John Bonham, and that they wanted to do a show with this. And Page, I guess, is kind of making it sound like he didn't say no. He brought it to the rest of the band, who then couldn't really come to a consensus, and they just kind of let it die by inaction, I guess. But Page was speaking on stage at the Hay Festival in Wales when he made the comments, according to reporting by The Guardian. Speaking on ABBA's successful Voyage hologram show, Page said that Led Zeppelin had been asked to do that sort of thing long before ABBA's hologram show was announced. Unfortunately, discussions with the surviving band members, Robert Plant and John Paul Jones, were unfruitful, and the trio could not agree on the show, so it didn't really get moving, Page says. Page had also spoken regarding the scrapped exhibition in an interview last month, saying, "There was something at one point, but all the members and people around the band couldn't agree. I was much happier doing my book and the exhibition with the Met." Jason Bonham, apparently it went so far as... Jason Bonham's band is known as the Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin Experience. He actually changed the name because the name of this hologram show was going to be the Led Zeppelin Experience. So he ended up taking the L there and changing the name of his band to the Led Zeppelin Evening. So that way he didn't have to lose his JBLZE thing. And so he changed it to Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. So it obviously went so far as to actually be a possibility that they actually had a name for it, that they had talked to all the band members that were still around, including, and it doesn't really sound as though Jason Bonham really understood what was going on. He said, quote, "They have plans for the terminology Led Zeppelin Experience, And I was like, okay, but I need to keep the logo. One, I have the tag on my car, and two, I have a huge backdrop that I paid for last year. So, like, I don't know if he was 100% sure of what was going to happen. I don't know if they talked to him about, we're going to use your father's likeness and, his drumming to do the show. I have no idea. But, okay, as I said, don't say I didn't warn you, because this stuff is going to just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And what's going to end up happening is that, what's going to end up happening is that eventually one of these companies is going to throw an insane amount of money at a family member, and that family member is going to cave in, and they're just going to let them do it. And you're going to have Jimi Hendrix running around. You're going to have Elvis holograms running around. You're going to have Buddy Holly holograms. You're going to have, whoever you can think of. Okay. Freddie Mercury, all of them. All right. And I think that this is just going to get worse. And I think part of it, to be real, is because there's still so much of a market for this type of music that we are fans of. If this music still wasn't relevant today, if people weren't still listening to it and still huge fans of it, then this wouldn't be a thing. And if music today was anywhere near what it was 30 to 40 years ago, then, let's just be real. It hasn't been the same probably in 25 years, I would say. So, yes, this is why it's happening. Yes, I understand that there's still a huge market for it, and that if they did a traveling show with Led Zeppelin holograms and it was a cool show, I might go. But again, we're talking about, is this okay? Like, do we really think this is okay? We're entering into an age where people are coming back from the dead left and right. You had Star Wars do it and Rogue One. They're bringing people who are dead back to life with CGI and things of that nature. They're CGIing Luke Skywalker, things of that nature. People who can no longer be in those, instead of recasting the part like they would have done in the past, they just CGI it. So how bad do you think this is? How bad do you think it's going to get? I don't know, but I think it's going to get bad, in my opinion. I think that, again, we've only seen the tip of the iceberg. And as long as there's a huge market for this type of stuff, people are going to try to do it. And eventually, somebody is going to get tons of money thrown at them. I mean, if you're Jimi Hendrix's family and a company comes along and says, we'll give you $150 million plus 10% of all of our profits from the shows, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Okay. And to turn it down, frankly, most people would think would be crazy, and you wouldn't have to do anything. You just let them create this holographic image of your dead relative and, sit back and collect a paycheck. It's it's kind of a no-brainer for some people, but for other people like myself who believe that these are people frozen in time because they died at a certain age. They are no longer with us. They cannot make music, and even more important, they cannot make a decision about whether or not they want to go out there again as a hologram, because they're not with us anymore. They're dead. So people that are dead should be dead. And I'm sorry, but we still have their music to live by. We still have video, of their performances. We still have things that we can watch whenever we want to. And I understand that it's nothing new, but neither are these holograms. They're nothing new either. You're not going to get a new experience. It'll be a different type of experience, but it's going to be used with the existing footage that already exists, right? They're just going to create a digital avatar of this person, but they're going to use the same footage and they're going to use all the same movements. So in the end, and they can't really change the music. So in the end, it's going to be the same stuff, just in a different package. So why is it a thing? Why can't we just put those to rest? And if ABBA wants to go out and do a show, like I said originally in my original videos about ABBA, if you want to just go do a show, just go do a show. Just play a show as ABBA. I understand, they have stage fright and fear of flying and all this stuff like that. Okay, then do a show in your hometown. Let people come to you. You'll still sell tons of tickets. It's just wrong, in my opinion. And I'm gonna stay on this fight. I don't care what you guys think, but I'm going to stay on this fight about these things, because These holograms, no, man, they're not going to fly for me. They're not, okay? It's just another way of fooling your senses into thinking that somebody who's not alive is alive again. And it's just not right to me. So if anyone out there from any of the families of dead rock stars happen to be listening to this video, please don't do it, guys. I know the money can be good, and I know maybe even you might be in dire straits financially, but there are other ways. You know, there are other ways of doing this that will honor the memory of the musicians more than basically making them take the stage as a hologram. It just, think about it, okay? But that's all I got today. Thanks for watching if you stayed to the end. Let me know what you think in the comments. I always love these discussions. The Led Zeppelin holograms almost happened. Unbelievable. I'll see you next time.